Excuse me. I'll get this over with first, all right?
Grace? Oh, what a lovely TV name.
What? Is there another mic open somewhere? Well, welcome back. We are at the Saratoga Springs Horse Show. Glad to have you join us. I'm Wayne Williams. I co-host along with my beautiful co-host Susan.
Thank you.
Susan
I'm
Kane.
Susan Kane. Thank you for taking time to join us. And we have a lovely young guest in the studio.
Yes, we do. And just before we talk to Grace, we just want to remind you it is the Saratoga Springs Horse Show. You will see moving across your screen either a way to text a secure donation or a way to telephone. Now you can phone 518-306-5121 is what you see going across, or text Saratoga to 50155 and donate. Both are very secure ways to donate. We also have a kiosk in the exhibitor tent here on the grounds, and you can make a donation that way. They're all secure and they all go to a great cause. All these charities supported by the Capital Fund that runs the Saratoga Springs Horse Show. Shall we talk to our guest?
Yes, indeed.
Introduce yourself.
I am Grace Amerling from the Ethel Walker School in Simsbury, Connecticut. But I live in Katona, New York, full time. I was showing in the Limit Act today, and I was champion.
Champion?
Yes.
Great.
Yes,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
When I saw you earlier this morning, I said, come back after your class, tell us how you did. I had no idea you were going to come back the champion.
The champion.
That's great. That's
Yep.
great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty good rides. I just got a new horse about 2 weeks ago, and he's a 6-year-old from Europe, and so he was just a star today. Really stepped it up.
6 is young in the show
Yep,
ring.
yep.
How was his
Yeah,
attitude? and
he has a
behavior?
great attitude. Great attitude. I couldn't ask for a better horse.
How long have you two been together?
2 weeks.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yep.
Well, that's a major accomplishment in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I just went down to Wellington over the winter, and for that I got a horse who was also really young, and he just got hurt, so I got to get a new one.
Got to keep going,
Yeah.
right? Got to keep going. So, how did you get a horse from Europe? I mean, what was the trial process?
We didn't actually go to Europe, but he was just off the plane from Europe about maybe like a month before I got him. But we had tried him once before, and he was very European. It was like a day after he got off the plane, and I tried him again. And he was a lot better. So.
What
So-
was your horse like before this horse? Was it a big difference from?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Again, with the other horse, I got him 2 weeks before I went to Florida, and he was a very pretty big dapple gray, who was just really, 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 really slow, like so slow, and didn't really know how to jump yet because he was doing dressage most of his life, but was getting there. But he just hurt himself, and yeah.
So, what is your horse's name that you're riding
Oh,
now?
Leo.
Leo.
Leo,
Oh,
yes.
very nice. I'm a Leo, so I'll remember that. I'll remember that name. Well, August birthday, Leo.
That's true.
Us Leos have to stick together.
Yeah.
So
It's in the stars, right? Yeah.
That's right. Is Leo a very different ride from your dapple gray horse? Was it an adjustment period for you?
Yes, he is a very different ride. He's very powerful, and he's very heavy and pretty difficult to ride. And so I was just proud of getting around the course. So, yeah.
What were some of the things that you had to think about to make successful adjustments?
With him, I have to keep my position really well and just continue to come back to my position, because after the jump he gets a little strung out, and that's his big problem. He gets strung out and he doesn't come back in. So I just had to keep on bringing him back. But other than that, he was just really great. Yeah.
Take us through your round today that
Okay. So
wound up being your championship
Yes,
ride.
we want to hear about it.
So I went in. What was my first course? I went to the first jump was a quarter line, and that was good. And then I pretty much had a really successful course. It was really great. Just got all my distances, kept my pace. Really, he came back to me after the jumps, which is really great because in here there's not a lot of time after the jump to get him back, and so that was great. And he was just a star, and I got all my distances, which has been a problem for me with him this horse. Kept my position. He jumps really cute too, so it helps.
So being that he tends to string out a little bit after the jump, did you find like you jumped and you had to bring them together? Did you have to be conscious to like shorten his stride a little bit to the second fence in the line so you didn't end up underneath it?
Yes.
And
actually yesterday I got a 4 in one of the 5s because we were going way too strung out, but
oh goodness.
fixed our mistake and just went in a little bit slower and kept us.
You know what's been neat? Watching on the monitor here, which behind you while you were discussing your jumps, the horses were jumping, and it was right between like you and the plant. It was just absolutely framed perfectly. It was neat.
Wayne, are you using that as an excuse to look at yourself in the monitor again?
Yeah. Well, I don't carry around a makeup mirror, so I can primp. I have
that's
to do
when
it
I'm
live.
off camera.
I have to primp live on the screen.
Okay, back to our
Yeah,
guest,
back to our
Grace.
guest. Okay.
Grace, rider of Leo,
Yes.
champion in the limit equitation
Yes.
today. How big is Leo? How tall?
He's about 17.1.
Wow.
Yep. I'm a tall girl, so I need a tall horse.
And what are your plans for the summer with Leo?
We're gonna be doing some summer shows, Lake Placid, Saugerties, Vermont, and then CHA finals. And then back to school. Hopefully do Wellington next winter.
Does Leo stay with you at the school?
Yes. And then when I go back home for the summer, he'll come with me. Yeah. And because the Walker Ryan's fillies are just out of this world, like.
And your coach, is it Hillary Reinheimer?
Yeah, Hillary Reinheimer.
Oh my gosh.
She's great.
What an awesome coach.
Yeah.
What is it like to ride with
She's
Hillary?
great. You know, it's nice to have a coach that you can really trust and really trust their judgment and like really listen and do well. So she's great.
So I read a statistic about Hillary that as a junior, she was in the top 20 of the Medal and Maclay finals for 5 consecutive years.
Yeah.
That is an awesome achievement.
Yeah, and you know, she didn't have like a really nice fancy horse either. So that's really impressive.
Does that really get the kids
Yeah.
excited that like, wow, this is my teacher?
We also have like a big respect for Hillary.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you've learned from her that have made a difference in your riding?
Oh, so many things. And like I'll hear her voice like saying like a certain thing. Really like we have 2 trainers at my school who are just both great. And I'm trained by both of them. And Hillary really helped me in Florida with my horse, and she's one of the riders that she can just ride any horse, and doesn't really have a problem with any horse.
Yeah.
So she helps me ride my horse and fit to my horse, and really tune myself to my horse. Yeah.
Do you have more classes at this show?
Actually, I'm going back for the SATs today, which really sucks. So this was my first show after Wellington, just to see how this horse is, to get my feet back on the ground, and it's been great.
Will you be showing next week here?
No, I won't. We usually do like 1 week each show, sometimes 2. Yeah. And then later on this year, I'll be going to Socrates in about 2 weeks, showing there.
Nice.
Luckily, no SATs.
So have you graduated from limit equitation yet?
In the middle.
Yeah?
Yeah. In the middle.
You're sure off to a swell start with Leo.
Yep.
Well, and coming out of here champion today, that's commendable too.
Yeah.
That is a great start.
Yeah.
So,
When did you start riding and getting involved with horses?
Probably when I was like 4. Yeah, I was part of a country club that had a equestrian program, and I just haven't stopped since.
Did you come from a horsey family?
No, actually, not at all. My whole family plays tennis.
So what was it like when you were like, I want to ride?
It's been a challenge, but if you just keep on pushing, you get there.
Yeah.
well, when your family plays tennis and you want to do something different, then you actually go to them and say, I want to get in a different racket, right?
Yep.
Oh. That was a good one. Good one, Wade.
Just zing them right in once in a while. No.
New
But
line for
new
Grace
line,
at home.
Yeah. I'm in a new racket.
Yeah.
So what have been some of your most memorable horse moments to date? Not specifically shows, but just
Well,
with horses.
I love this horse show. Last year I came with actually a school horse from my school, who's just a champion, and was champion in the novice ec. So that was a great moment. I've had so many. I love just those days when everything is just really good and everything is perfect. Those are the days I love.
And today was one of those days.
Yes,
Right? Today,
yes.
yeah, I can tell in your
Yes.
face that today was one of those
Yes.
days. Right. That's great. That's great.
Well, Grace, we appreciate your time and wish you many, many, many more of those
Thank
days
you.
and enjoyable
good luck
time
as
with
you
Leo this summer.
Thank you.
Good luck as you progress through the year, and then you got one more year of school, right?
Yes.
So we have a good next year too.
Thank
What
you.
you need to do is next year, if we're here doing this, which I hope we are,
Yes, I hope so too.
come back and tell us about your new racket.
Yes, should be open equitation by
Yeah.
then,
Right. Yeah.
for sure.
Right.
Yep.
For sure. Well, you're a lovely young lady, Grace.
thank
you
you.
so much for your time. And if you don't mind, just wave.
Wave to the crowd.
everybody at home.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Not
Enjoy.
problem.
Thank you.
Don't forget to
Bye.
unclip your
Bye.
microphone.
Oh, yes.
We need to leave that behind. There we go. Thank you.
Thanks, Grace.
All right, going to take a moment, remind you, it is the Saratoga Springs Horse Show. Nice to have a champion on. Wasn't it?
Oh, how delightful. And what a lovely young lady. My goodness.
And it's right here in Saratoga Springs. It is for the benefit of the Capital Fund of Saratoga. They actually run the show as a fundraiser. There are many charities, from crisis centers to soup kitchens, food pantries, and the like, that all benefit from this. You can donate. You can donate a charitable, tax-deductible donation to many ways. You can do it by, if you look moving across your screen, you can text it to Saratoga at 50155 for a secure donation. You can call on the phone, 518-306-5121, and make a secure donation. We have operators standing by. And you can go to the I thought you were making a donation. No, you can,
I
you
was
can
showing
go
text.
to
That's texting.
the You can
Texting.
go to the kiosk, which is right here on the grounds in the exhibitor tent, and you can make a secure donation that way.
Yes, yes. And
Or you can just bring money to the announcers. How's that? Right?
There
But
you go.
Anyway, it's very, very worthy cause, and so all of your support is appreciated.
Yes. Well, we have the amazing Jill Cunningham right outside
Okay.
the media tent, ready to come in and get mic'd up. And Jill, I've known for many years in the show ring, a longtime horsewoman, and now a very, very successful real estate agent specializing in horse properties, which is a great specialty for this neck of the woods.
Jill, let's go on the other one over here.
Okay, perfect.
Let's go right there.
Can you hear me?
Oh, look at the guy.
There you are.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Hey, I worked for Verizon for 20 years, so
Well, can you hear me now?
I can. Thank you.
You get the communication signal.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you so very much.
Wow,
for
this is
joining
great.
us,
This
and
is lovely.
thrilled to
great.
have run into you, and
Yeah.
we've seen each other for countless years.
Oh
at
my
horse
gosh,
shows
yeah.
and
At the track,
at
when
the
I had a
track.
couple of racehorses.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Saratoga especially. So, if you don't mind, tell viewers a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well,
and
you know,
I know we could chat for an hour or so.
well, I took a passion and converted it into a business. You know, I took an early retirement from Verizon, and I got my real estate license back in 2001, and said, you know, I got to do something. You know, I love horses, love people. Had a great connection with, obviously, growing up in the Capital District area. So I had a great team behind me. You know, a lot of good brokers, but I landed at Realty USA, and it's been amazing, amazing. You know, they have just the marketing, the support. It's just amazing. You know, so I love it. I love what I do now. And I developed a nice website. It's called nyequineproperties.com. So I sell anywhere in New York State. You know, I want to be able to service my clients. So I go as far as Cazenovia and that area, and as far north as Lake Placid. And so, but I've been busy. Got a closing at 2:30 today. So
All right.
I was on the market for 2 days, and that was it. Nice big
That amazes me.
Yeah.
You know, because you hear about the housing market today and its ups and downs.
Yeah.
And 2 days on the market it must have been a very desirable property.
You know, it's all about the buyers. You know, and every farm has a different amenity. You know, I have a beautiful farm down in East Greenbush. It is state of the art. You know, and that's, you know, over 2 million, and it'll be to the right buyer. And we've had some nibbles. You know, some people, you know, are interested. I sold a beautiful farm that once belonged to a top Grand Prix rider in Clifton Park. I don't think that was on the market for more than 30 days. And so it's, you know, and then I have smaller farms, you know, the hobby farm and standardbred people. I have tons of standardbred people buying farms. So it's busy. It's busy. And there's definitely.
So just, do you see the horse industry in general, based on, you know, the farm purchases thing, do you see the horse industry on a rebound coming back?
Yeah, you know, the thing about the horse industry is that if you want it, you're going to get it, you know, and you always increase your value. You don't depreciate like a house. So, you know, if a horse farm sold for $500,000 maybe 8 years ago, right now in the market it's worth about another $200,000 on top of that. So there's a lot of appreciation value because the cost of building farms are so expensive, from, you know, water, electric, fencing, indoors, padding in the stalls, you know, pavers. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But land value is expensive. So, you know, it's definitely, you know, a great investment because they're not going to lose money. And there's always going to be someone coming in behind them. So, and the rates are good. You know, they're giving out those jumbo loans again. So, yay, amen.
Do you find that most of your buyers are looking for a turnkey property or one that's mostly prepared to receive horses immediately?
Yeah, they definitely want something turnkey. We're finding that show people, you know, from the south, you know, from Florida now, want to be nestled here because they can get to Lake Placid, Manchester, the hits, these two, you know, this show, you know, the show that follows this in June. So we're finding that this is a really, really great niche right in this area. But they want to be able to get in, it's safe, it's clean, you know, and they can either close it up in the wintertime and go back to Florida, or they can stay and have, you know, or keep the business going in the winter. So definitely, we're finding Europeans, you know, a lot of dressage people coming into the area. So it's really exciting because I get to meet and you know, all these wonderful horse people, which I just love.
Yeah, and it's a niche that you're an expert in. I mean,
Yeah.
before we ran into one another, I was just thinking, you know, no better person to buy a horse property from because you know horses.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
As a horse person, there's nothing more annoying than seeing something, you know, presented as a horse property,
Right.
and it's really not. It's like maybe for sheep or goats, but that's not a horse property.
Well, and I've been working with the MLS group, which is the Greater Capital Region of Realtors, because, you know, when we list things in the MLS group, we can't, there's no identification for horse farms. And agents who don't know how to find a horse farm can't find it for their clients. And I get a lot of calls from agents from all over, the Capital District region saying, hey, I have a buyer, I need a horse farm. And I say, well, why don't you look at, at this one? They said, well, I couldn't find it on the MLS. So we're trying to get them to redirect a identification
Designation.
right,
Yeah.
so that they do. And Realty USA is doing one for our website because we have so many great people in our company. We have Mike Seabridge, who's a blacksmith. We have Joe and Jeannie D'Agostino, who are both, big in the thoroughbred industry and the breeding industry. Maria Barr, who did dressage and show horses. Myself, so, and I'm trying to recruit another one from another agency because she's really, really good. And she's here today, too. So we're trying to build the industry so that when someone comes to New York State and they want a horse farm, they only think of us. And Realty USA is #1 in the state. We did over $1 billion in real estate last year. And
If you provide them the search engine so that they can find everything there, because what happens so many times is even with the hobby farms, they all get under one category,
Right.
agriculture.
right, right. And nobody knows.
Nobody knows,
Right.
whether it's a dairy farm
Right.
or a farm or horses or
Yeah.
what. They've got to be broken out
Right.
into those different categories.
And there's a lot of money, grant money for women in business, and we know that the industry is more geared towards women. There's a lot of money for grant programs, for the riding, from therapeutic riding to thoroughbred, rehabilitation. So, and a lot of these young kids that are getting out of like Morrisville and Cobleskill and Cazenovia, they have great opportunities to go and get this money and build upon it. Now I'm working with a young woman who graduated from Cazenovia College. She's looking to buy a farm. She's got a great business plan. We're going to move her into a move-in condition kind of place so that she can just start her business and focus on building the industry in the area. And that's my goal. That's the only reason I do this, is because I want to keep horses here. I don't want them going anywhere else, any other, I want them to stay here. It's my love, it's my passion, and yeah.
And and Susan said it earlier, it's perfect that you know horses.
Yeah.
You've already been in the horse
Oh my
industry,
goodness,
so that now you're fitting these properties.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, it's the niche that I found and the niche that you found.
Yeah,
When
absolutely.
it comes to broadcasting, if you have horses and know horses, and then you get cast into doing programs about horses, you can find 1 million announcers,
Yeah.
but if they don't understand the industry they're calling,
Yep.
the minute there's anything off script,
Yep.
you're done. Okay?
Yeah, and I have a book of people who, called me years ago, and said, the wish list, the want list, and, I need to, and, those kind of people. And I flip back and say, oh my God, you remember you were looking for a farm? And they're like, yeah, you remember? And I'm like, I do.
Because you have a passion for it.
And I do. And that's it. I get paid to do what I love to do now. I get to hang out with the greatest horse people in the world, and even just the greatest people that love horses. I mean,
So do I. I get paid to do what I love to do.
yeah, and it's
And
great.
not a lot of people ever get that chance.
No.
No, and Jill not only knows horses, you've
No.
been hands-on with horses for
Yeah,
many years
long
in the
time,
show ring.
yeah.
Tell us a little bit
Well, we
about your
had,
background in the show ring
yeah.
and with horses.
Well, I had a great green confirmation hunter who came from some of the finest racing bloodlines. She was a Tom Fool Damascus baby, and she came to me via someone had to get rid of the brood mare, so I had her from the day she dropped, and she went on to be one of the top green confirmation hunters in the area and in the state actually. So, and my daughter Colleen has ridden, and she's done great, and she's a lovely equitation rider. She's now in college at Hartwick, and she's riding for the team, and she's doing very well. So, and I got another horse. I got a horse we had a few years ago that, unfortunately, there was some paperwork that didn't get done correctly. So he went back to the owner, and then things happened, and all different things happened. But through the grace of God, we got him back, and we got him sound again, and he's now being ridden by a great dressage woman. And so we're enjoying that, and now I'm thinking about buying a broodmare. I have to make that decision in the next couple of days. And she's bred to a great Holsteiner, and thank God I got a little farm because I'm going to be poor.
You need to keep selling real
I
estate.
gotta keep selling real estate. I do.
Support the horses.
Yeah.
And in certain facets of the horse industry right now, certain places are breeding very well. Some places aren't breeding anything.
No.
So that's kind of an up and down market too.
Well, I really feel that a lot of the German warm bloods are, a real desirable animal for the show ring. I mean, I was a thoroughbred person all my life. I mean, that's what I grew up on, you know, the breeding of thoroughbreds have changed. They're not big and like they were. I mean, and their conformations have changed to be speedballs versus these big,
The old idle dices.
Oh
of
my
the
gosh! I
thoroughbred
mean, these, you
world.
know, the bones on them look like warm blood. So
Yeah.
it's really, and it's hard for some of those horses to get up these lines and do these big lines, you know. And so I think, you know, we still have to protect those animals, and I think we need to control some of the breeding on that end. I always said they should run credit reports on people before they breed them, or you know, you can't buy a car without getting a credit report. Why is
Well
it you can
said,
buy a horse?
responsible breeding.
Yeah, and you know, I think that's probably the only way you're going to start controlling the breeding programs, and that's my.
That's
it's
a
so
very
easy.
passionate topic
Isn't that easy?
for me too. You
Yeah.
know, in
Yeah.
Europe, even with the jumping horses,
Yeah.
they're culled. If they're not correct, they're gelded. They're
Yeah.
not bred. You
Yeah.
know, if a horse is
Yeah,
broken down and wasn't successful racing, why do we want to continue
Yeah.
that line for whatever reason with
I agree.
23,150 thoroughbreds?
Yeah,
Or was
yeah.
how many were
and
born
if you
in-
stop and think about it, if
last
everybody
year.
started doing that, then all of a sudden, you know, all right, I understand it's all about money and you know that, but you know, I think if you have so many animals that are going bad in the industry, those breeders should be fined. You got to be controlled somewhere. There's got to.
I'm with you. We could have our own show on that, Jill.
And you know,
I just started getting crazy when I see all these horses, and I'm like, oh my god, these
and
poor
no
things.
matter what you say or do about it, the proof comes out when all of a sudden certain types of horses start to develop continually more injuries. Okay, you know,
Yep.
more lameness, more foot you know, whatever it is, that's the proof in the pudding that something isn't right.
You're exactly correct.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is track injuries, and you'll know, and then you can track back on bloodlines, and you know right where you're
Well,
at.
I have to go to some farms that, I mean, the horses are starving, and I had to, you know, I have to talk to people and say, you know, you have to take care of the animals before I bring buyers here, because I can't be responsible for what other horsemen could do, you know, and, you know, so there's, you know, I'm there also as an eyeball to protect people and say, you know, why don't you talk to so-and-so at Cornell Cooperative Extension, there might be funding, and, you know, and try to keep people in business if they can't sell, you know, and because we all get it. We all love our animals. you
See,
know.
there was actually in Wisconsin, where I live, about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, right when the bottom fell out of things. The problem was people who could no longer afford their horses, they had 1 or 2 just backyard horses that
Right.
couldn't afford them, would try to go to a rescue. The rescues were all full, so they would turn them down. So then they would go out and just turn them loose on the street. When the police or the authorities would pick them up, when they take them to a rescue, the rescue by law has to take them.
That's right. That's
See?
right.
So the people knew this,
Right.
so they would go down and literally almost turn them loose in front of the police station. They didn't want them hurt.
Right.
They needed them taken care of,
Yeah.
and that's the only way they could make that happen. And we went through a lot of that where, you know, horses were just turned loose.
And you know, I think the state and the feds also can fork out a little bit more money. We spend money on stupid things sometimes, you know. So, you know, have a caregiving kind of, you know. And I used to think states needed to have an equine inspector, you know, in each quad of the state, to just not to find bad things, but to help people and to keep the industry here. I mean, there are plenty of vets that are retired that would love to have a supplement, or and who are not part, you know, or not part of racing, or you know what I mean. Just want to protect the animal and protect the people and the industry. You know.
And have somebody that's laying an eye on them that has an educated eye.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because there are too many things that are turned in by uneducated eyes that
Right.
aren't accurate.
Right.
You know.
And the laws need to change to protect the horses, because
yeah.
we know what
Yeah.
goes on up in Greenfield, and you know the law. You know, she's got hay and water. They're starving, but they got hay and water.
I had a Palomino quarter horse mare that was 31 years old that was starting to lose weight, just age.
Yeah.
And I was right at the verge of putting her down, you know, and somebody came by and literally stopped and says, "What's the matter with that horse?" And I said, "The horse is 31, and I think I'm going to be putting her down shortly." Okay. They didn't get it. All they saw was a horse that didn't look
right.
robust.
Right.
okay?
Right.
And I'm like, if you saw how much feed I'm pouring to this horse, that's why I say an educated eye, so that, you know, if everybody turns everybody in because it doesn't look right,
right.
and they're not educated,
That's
it's going
right.
to be a mess.
It is.
It will defeat the purpose. That's what it will do.
So, but
Well,
it's
yeah, and toward that end, you're probably familiar with Littlebrook Farm
Yep.
in Chatham.
Yep.
On May 22nd, they are actually having a one-day clinic for law enforcement, sponsored by the New
Okay.
York State Humane Association.
Yep.
Simply so police officers in the field can identify a horse
Right.
that doesn't look
Right.
healthy, the body condition
Right.
score,
Right.
because so much of it is a lack of education.
Yep.
And
Right.
Yep.
New York State, more than any other state in my opinion, is right now as a window of opportunity to
Oh,
be
yeah.
a leader
Yeah, absolutely.
in responsible breeding,
Yep.
in horse care,
Yep.
and
Yep. And I think we've had
ownership.
some of the biggest cases that, I mean, obviously there's been some big cases, big thoroughbred farms that, had some issues.
Yeah,
And,
there's actually there's a filly here. Her show name is Kimberly. She'll be here next week. That I rescued out of Paragallo's
Yeah.
Centerbrook Farm. That has been one of the leading Marshall and Sterling children's
See,
jumpers
it's-
over the past several. Since that time, she was only with me about 6 months.
And I agree. There's just so much that we can do, and again, as an equine property specialist, and I get to say to people,
Yeah.
if you can't do this, let me help you. There's
Right.
plenty of people that would love a nice horse, and that don't want a show horse, but just a lovely horse to ride. I mean, let's have the opportunity to all work together. But I'm lucky with that. Most of every farm I go to and I represent have great knowledge and great respect for the horses, and that's a pleasure to be around. I mean,
Right, right.
I mean, I think you saw on my Facebook, I posted the other day, I was waiting for a buyer to come on, and I'm like, oh my God, I love my job. I get to hang out with horses all day long. I mean, how hard is this?
I had to sit here in this barn all afternoon waiting on this guy. This
Yeah,
is
and
isn't
they
this
don't talk
terrible,
back
right?
to you.
Yeah.
They just look for me for cookies, And
But
so,
it's really it's such a unique position, and New York is really lucky to
Yeah.
have you
Well, thank you.
because an agent that doesn't know horses walking into that situation is not in a position
Mm-hmm.
to help someone or educate them or guide them to a resource
right, you're
that
right.
could make a difference for good.
Well, Real TSA, I got to tell you, they're just amazing. My brokers, my assistant broker, the president of the company, they are just so open arms, and they just love, now that we're grouping all these great horsemen in the industry in our company together to say, hey, if they can't find it, then she'll find it, or if I can't find it, they'll find it. That we protect our buyers and we protect our sellers. We don't bring people, tire kickers.
You've created that wonderful niche and that wonderful service, and as long as it's done, the credibility factor, they're going to come back to you.
Yeah,
And
well,
that's
I
what
hope
you
so.
want them to
Yeah.
do.
Well, my slogan is "Your horse's home is my business," and that's it. That's
Great
that's it.
slogan.
That's
is.
all it
It
is.
is.
It's just about the love and.
There was the old line, and this is how it works, but it was from the old movie Miracle on 34th Street,
Yeah,
where Santa Claus was sending them from Macy's to Gimbel.
yeah.
Everyone's, oh my gosh, you can't do that. Well, you know what it did? Everybody came to Macy's first because they knew they'd get the right answer.
Right,
See?
right.
And that's the whole idea. Even if you send them, telling a salesman sometimes what order to walk away from is the most difficult thing.
Yep.
But if that credibility remains, pretty soon you're getting all the phone calls because you are the one they trust to guide.
Well, I have people call me and say, "Well, why didn't you bring a buyer by?" And I said, "Because I'm too busy selling my clients' farms. I have to. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to, but by the time we get through all my listings, they end up buying one of mine. So,
Right.
I give
Right.
everybody's information out there because I want to support all my other, people in the industry. But
But if they trust you, they're coming to you.
yeah, and that's
that's
good.
what you work
yeah,
for.
that's what I work for. That's what I've, it's honesty, integrity, which Verizon instilled into me for years, and I mean, it was kind of like a cult, but but I loved it. It was a good company too. So yeah, they have my pension. I got to be nice to them. So.
Never mind.
Oh, goodness. Our guest is Jill Cunningham of Realty USA, an expert in all things equine property, whether you're buying or selling. Jill, are you seeing any micro trends in who's selling and who's buying? Like, is it families maybe whose kids aren't interested, and then you have younger buyers coming
Well, it's funny.
in?
After this winter, a lot of people in their 50s and 60s are like, "We're done. We're going south." And then I said, "Well, it's a good time because all the kids coming out of college or have been out of college who have now got enough experience, and those are the ones, yeah. But and the commercial ones are bigger. And again, their pocket. I don't talk about them because there's so much business involved that They're nervous that if their business is talked about, then they're going to lose clients, the rumor mill. So, unless there's someone really, focused on that. And like the closing I have today, I mean, 2 days on the market, it was, a buyer whose daughter, is a young woman who is a professional, and the seller, and I had to get permission for everybody to talk, and and it worked out.
Yeah.
So I was like, who would have known? So I hope to keep doing it. Yeah.
It's sort of like the TV commercial that runs now, where this guy's looking for a starter home. These people are looking to move to a bigger home with
Yeah,
kids,
yeah.
and the older folks are saying we're ready to retire, and everybody just rotates. But that's basically what you're talking about.
Yeah. The weather had a lot to do with it, though.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in
weather
our
was
age
really-
category, my age category anyway, in Wisconsin this year, that have said, "This is it."
That was it. This was
This
nail in the
winter has-
coffin. Yeah.
One guy's already done it. He's already in North Carolina. It didn't take him 2 months to get.
There's
out
a
of
lot
there.
of change. I know that I'm working with a developer out of the Carolinas who wants to do an equine property community where there's hunt fields and dressage fields and an indoor, and we're just trying to find the right location, right price, laws of so many houses near each other without, public water and sewer. And so that would be great, because I always said, if someone built townhouses where I could just throw the keys on the counter and walk out the back door and go ride, it'd be ideal.
Have you ever been to Norco, California?
No.
Look it up.
Okay. So a lot of change is coming this way.
Well, it's interesting that you should say that about the community property. I had a small horse farm in Greenville that I
Yeah.
lived on for a while, and we had a cottage that we rented, and it was rented at a very high price for that area. That cottage, because it looked over the pastures, I could have rented 10 times over
Yeah.
if they were around
Yeah.
the
Yep.
property. Not horse people, but people that really
Yeah.
enjoyed looking at the horses, seeing them, and now I'm in that category, unlike the townhouse where
Well,
I
you know,
can
it's
be
just
a
like
part
people
of
want-
the
yeah,
community.
like living near a golf course, So,
Right.
I mean, and it can be done. This guy is the #1 developer throughout the United States, and he works with all the big, like Toll Brothers, and he builds these equestrian communities. He's got a very big one down in Aiken, and it's an honor to work for him, because he comes to me and says, I trust you, you get it, you're getting it, But land is getting scooped up so quickly around here, and I keep saying, gotta move. you can't hesitate. You gotta buy it.
Or you're going to wind up with a
Yep.
location you don't want. You're
No.
going to be too far out of
Because we get people that come here for the summer and have show horses, and they might own race horses, and they have nowhere to really put their really nice show horses. They're nervous about going into another barn, and and trainers and their wives that have show horses. I mean, so this kind of opportunity is great for people who are doing that, and so I'm like, let's go, come on, let's get this started.
Do you envision that happening
Yeah,
in
I
New
do.
York?
Yes, I do. I know that it's happening in another area I work in, so and
Oh, that's exciting.
That's all right. Don't say too much.
Put me
really
on- put
quiet.
me on that list
That's
when
a
you
good
can
list. You'll like that
speak.
one. I'll tell you that
That's
later. but-
exciting.
Yeah, so until that-
and it just makes it more affordable. Everyone's time and money is
Yeah.
being, pulled at by so many things
Yeah.
that if you can find a way to afford your horses and fit
Live
them
and-
into
yeah.
your schedule, why
It's a
not?
no-brainer.
And it's not only that, it's
Yeah.
the fact that if you're in a community where you're all horse people, okay, then if you go here, you go there, and you have responsibilities at the barn, there's always somebody
Right,
to cover.
right.
And
Yeah.
nobody's going to complain about certain things that will be associated with horses in the area, because you're all in the same game.
Well, we do have the Saratoga farm, which John Witt is the custom builder over there, and that used to be the old Manhasset farms. I think the
Yes.
Peyton family used to own it.
Yes.
So we have the farm listed. There's 20 stalls. It has the old barn, and then it has a newer barn that was probably built in like the 70s or 80s, and then 8 acres. But right behind it is another, I think, 3 or 4 acre building lot, and then across from that is another building lot that's fenced in. But if you were to buy the lot behind you and have John Witt build you a house, and then you bought the farm in front, and you could put a little indoor up, and you have 8 acres of front pasture, which you could do cross country, dressage, everything, you would have a really nice mini estate as a private individual, and you're like 3.5 miles, I think it is, to the track. It's a no-brainer. I mean, it's a no-brainer. The farm's listed at $799. Are you kidding me? Like, seriously? Like, it's a no-brainer.
In this area?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and even if you just bought the farm and used it for your thoroughbreds coming in and out and rotating, drop your mares there during the,
It's perfect.
It's a
Right.
perfect fit.
Perfect.
So, So there's all these ideas. You just have to kind of tell people, hey, come look here.
So listen up. We're
Yeah.
telling you right now.
Yes.
Come buy that. I have a kid in college. I got to pay for her to go to school. No, so.
But it brings a lot of peace of mind. I mean, I know
Yeah.
from my own lifetime in horses, if you call someone that you know knows horses,
Yep.
whatever the other business you're going to, it makes a world of difference. World of difference. So it's really, really.
Oh, you don't know me? No. We're just having fun here.
And that's Jay. He's the best. He's the horse show
I'm
manager.
Wayne Williams, your host.
Susan Kane.
And our guest.
Jill Cunningham.
So, and we're here. We're at Saratoga Springs Horse Show. It is a charity event. You'll see moving by on the screen the phone number to call to donate. You'll see the texting information, or you can go to our kiosk right here. Please donate. It's for a great cause. Capital Fund runs the show and donates to all the charities that we're going to tell you about in a bit.
And
Go ahead, Jill.
I've been part of this horse show, for 30 years. I was on the committee when it was St. Clement's for 20, and I still help out and send people to Peggy Lynch, who's phenomenal. So it's a wonderful cause. It's always been a wonderful show. It's great for our community. And Tom Fuston and Ron Peters have done an amazing job. They're not horse people, but they love their community and they love the show. And I say it's a traditional show because I showed here both my daughters and
Yeah.
hopefully my grandchildren. Not yet.
You know.
No kids yet, girls.
But see, what you just said is amazing because so many people have been by just in the last 3 or 4 days here, and they've all said, I volunteered since, my dad volunteered, or
Oh my gosh,
or whatever,
yeah.
and now I'm volunteering, and my kids are going to do it, and so the traditions of this event just
It's
55 years now.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
just carry right on.
Yep. It's a great favorite memory. Yeah, definitely a favorite memory. People, come back and they love the mac and cheese and goulash. So it's the original.
That's what we had the chef in here, and I asked that because when I was
Yeah.
little, I remember the goulash was a signature
Yeah.
signature dish up here, and talk about memories. I've been around the grounds, and I've had so many people say, I knew you when you were
Isn't it amazing?
this
Yeah.
high, and this horse show to me is in
Oh.
my showing world as iconic as the Saratoga race meet is
Yeah,
to racing.
it
It's like
is.
I could not imagine
Yep.
the first 2
Well, yeah,
weeks
remember-
of May without it. Even the years I haven't been here, I'm like, it has
Who
to
started?
go
I mean,
on.
who had like show careers that started here? Anthony D'Ambrosia,
Yes, Mrs. Peel,
McLean Ward. You look back at all these Olympians that have showed here.
Albany in
Yeah, Albany, the
1983
famous- yeah.
won the jumper
Yep,
cup, and
Neil
he went
Shapiro's
to the
horse, yeah.
Olympics. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody ever did an article about that horse. What an amazing! And he was at the Killers. I think they found him at the at
it's an
Unadilla,
incredible.
and
It's an incredible story.
it's a love story. It's like so it's an honor.
I read something about this. Somebody did do something about that. I'm trying
Yeah.
to.
Well, my
About
I'll
father-
wake up in
yeah.
the middle of the night and remember where, but
Yeah.
there was something about that coming out of the Killers and then becoming an
That
Olympic.
was Albany. Yep, out of this area. Yeah, there was a great love story. That's a great story. I mean, there was. We've had some phenomenal horsemen that have come out of this area. I mean, I rode with John Blair. I don't think it gets any better than him.
Yeah.
The man just is an icon and just a gifted man. I mean, my horses were with the Kellys. They did great. I never have, I mean, they were winners. And my daughter rode with Sandy and Monty for a while, and they did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
And we started with Quiet Run. I mean, there's just so many great horsemen in this area.
the
Betsy
immediate
Joyce,
area,
yeah. I mean, so. When they go away and they represent us, it's an honor, to say that we have this many, and not to mention the Olympians we have in this state. You have Betsy, Beezy Madden now in Casanova.
Yes.
We have McLean. You have, there's a lot. There's a lot.
There is a
Yeah.
lot of
So we want to keep everybody here in New York.
Yeah,
We don't. It's nowhere else nice to live but New York.
it's a-
Saratoga, and this is this.
Well, it's a very collectively a very powerful equine community across
much.
varied disciplines. I mean, when you look at from racing to thoroughbreds
Yep.
and standard breds, the polo that comes up.
Polo's
this summer,
phenomenal. Yep, just saw Jim Rossi last night.
Show
yeah.
jumping, dressage.
Yeah.
I mean, on and on. Each discipline is covered.
Yep.
Are you seeing any trends in the types of disciplines that are moving their stables into New York?
I've sold a lot of farms to standardbred, a lot of standardbred guys, and the show horse industry, and the hunter jumpers. Definitely, the hunt seat is the bigger of, and well, I think it's just got a more powerful database, and you know, when you walk into a tack shop, no offense to Western riders or anything, but it's just more English, you know, because there's a lot of clothes for kids. They're, you know,
It's just more dominant in this area.
well, you can. It's like, you know, I still dress my horse like I'm a Barbie doll or something, you know. Oh, that's a nice new blanket. Let's spend $80 so we can lay in manure. Okay, that looks good.
See, it'd
So much for a trip to Hawaii,
It'd
you
be just a reverse if you walked into a tack shop outside of Denver and they said, you want what?
You want what? Right.
So
You're right.
it's
The
same
trend is,
thing.
yeah.
It's the same thing.
Well, you know, the show obviously, you know, over 550 horses the first week. We've never had those numbers.
It's exciting.
And I think they said they sold out the second week. So that is a testimony to Jay, who's just a great guy and a great manager. Peggy Lynch, you got to get her. Have Peggy been on yet?
Peggy has been so busy.
Okay, which is
that
great.
We have chatted a
She
number
just
of
walks
times.
by and waves and
but
she's
she
on her
is
way.
Yeah,
always
she's-
on the move.
She's great.
Always on the move.
She's the bomb. So I
But
love
we
working
do
with her.
need to talk to her.
Yeah, she's great. She's great.
Yeah,
So, but it's a great community of people, and you know, everybody comes back to help. Wishing Well's been on board for 30, 40 years, you know, and
Yeah.
See, that's the
Those
key.
girls rode, right?
yeah, that's
The
right. Yep,
girls
yep,
rode.
yep.
Jennifer
wrote. She wrote. Yeah, her
Yes.
daughter rides now.
Yes.
Heather,
Oh
Hannah.
my goodness,
She's really good
really?
too. She's really good.
Oh,
Beautiful
wow.
rider. So
See, we're into these second and third generations
We
now.
are.
It just
Well,
keeps
I mean, I started at this show I was with Jack Fromm, and
Oh
it
my
was
gosh,
it
yeah.
was in the middle of the Oklahoma
yeah, I remember that
training
yeah.
track.
I remember going over there. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's where we were. I mean, that's one of my earliest memories. And then I think it was my novice equitation with
Yeah.
Neil Shapiro.
Yeah.
I have the old black and white picture.
Well, I remember Nancy
know,
Wagner showing over there
Yes.
with
Oh my
her
goodness,
with
Nancy
Paul Buff
Wagner,
and
yes.
woman looked like Wonder Woman, and she was
She
like
did.
6'2", and she was beautiful, and on these beautiful
Yes.
thoroughbreds that just would jump the moon for her. I mean,
Yeah.
she was just amazing. I mean, she had she was an icon, and she's still a good friend of mine. Which you know, most of my great friends are from my riding.
We should
Yeah.
start a nostalgia page.
Yeah.
And I did see on the Saratoga Springs Horse Show Facebook page something about a gathering to bring old
Yep,
pictures.
Thursday, Throwback Thursdays. Yep.
Throwback Thursday, but it'd be
Yeah.
really neat.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many.
That would be great. I think it's a great idea. I really do. It's
local people
yeah.
over the years have participated
Yeah.
in this, and
Oh, it's-
gosh,
That would
Going on to be
that would
famous
be a
people.
publication you could sell a lot of copies of.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And get their autographs. Like baseball cards.
Yeah. Put them out in Topps bubble gum. There you go.
oh
You know.
goodness.
That'd be
Yeah,
great.
Can you see that trade? You know, Hunter Jumper trading cards.
Yeah,
Now
you
we're
know
onto
what?
something here.
You know.
You know.
Yeah.
But this is great. I really appreciate you guys having me. I do have to get to my closing because I have
Oh,
to pick up
yes.
a check.
Oh.
Too. Well, if you don't mind, quickly, please
Sure.
let our viewers know where you are most easily reached
Okay.
to help them buy and/or sell their properties.
Well, I can be reached through Realty USA here in Saratoga. I do have a website called nyequineproperties.com. You can email me through that, but you can Google me. You'll find good, I'm sure. Probably some bad, but no.
All
But
good,
you can
all
reach me
good.
via any way, email, and realtyusa.com has a lot of my listings, and you'll find me on their webpage too. But yeah, Realty USA, yay!
Yay! And a sponsor of the show.
Yeah,
Yep,
we
sponsor of
we
the
did it
show.
last year too, and each year we're going to get bigger and bigger. I'm sponsoring the Derby party, so you have to come and
Yes.
enjoy the Derby party. So
Yes.
come on over and have a good time at the Derby party. So
Will
We
do.
will make the Derby party.
yeah,
Guaranteed.
good,
Guaranteed.
good, good. Well,
Guaranteed.
thank you so
Hey,
much.
thank you very much.
Oh, I enjoy it. This is
What
fun.
A, what
I love
a depth and breadth of knowledge
Yeah.
you offer the
Well, you know, some like
equine
me, some don't.
industry well.
You know, and if work, if you have to
appreciate
use work for an excuse to leave, I guess
I
that's
do,
okay.
yeah.
Yes.
The lawyers frown on you
Yes,
when you
yes.
have to bring a check. They're looking for you. So I'm like, I gotta go.
You
But
don't want to go tell the lawyers the check's in the mail.
no, not these guys.
No.
But-
Well, continued success.
Well, Right.
thank you.
And thank you for being an educator of,
Well, thank you. I appreciate
horse
it.
people, and we look
Yeah.
forward to speaking with you
Just
again.
before you get away,
Okay.
we're going to remind you and everybody else, and remind myself,
right.
that you've got the Cone and Get It.
Cone
right?
and get it.
Cone
I
and
got
Get
it. Cone and Get It.
Free ice cream, right?
Free ice cream starting at about 15 minutes.
Ooh,
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10
Yikes.
minutes, yeah.
Ooh, all right.
Right over here at Ben & Jerry's for 2 hours while the supplies last.
Good. All right. So people
So,
come and get
go
your free ice cream.
Yes.
Come visit. Come visit. Give money to
yes,
these people.
yes.
Come to the show.
Yeah.
Donate.
$5, $10.
Right across your
Tracy,
screen.
right there. There's a good woman we should get on TV
Yes,
here. She's great.
Come,
Come here,
this
Tracy.
way. Come, look at her. Keep walking.
You're
What's up with
gonna.
that?
I'll go round
You'll
them
go
up for
get
you.
them. Thank you.
We'll,
very
we'll
much.
pass
you.
them up
Yeah.
to you to
Okay.
hook them in. Bring them in here.
Yeah, they're great. So, all right, well, good. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very
All right,
much.
Susan,
Thanks,
thank
Jill.
you very
Great
much.
You guys
to
need
see
to get
you.
together and have a nice
Oh, we will. We will.
Oh, my
reminiscing
goodness.
chat.
When
right?
the wine thing opens up in a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So in other words, the last segment I'll be doing by myself. all right? But
Got it. I'll be in the wine tent.
There you go. There is a wine tent?
There is a wine tent.
There is a
Yeah.
wine tent.
Yeah.
My mom and dad used to oversee that.
And where is this located?
Right behind you.
Well, why no? You know, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, that is, the ice cream is starting in about 10 minutes. Free ice cream, Ben & Jerry's, right over here. The booth
It
is
is.
right by us. Take a moment again to remind you this is the Saratoga Springs Horse Show, and it is for the Capital Fund, run by the Capital Fund of Saratoga, and benefits many charities. I'm going to take just a moment to tell you all of these charities. Benefits go to the Domestic Violence and Rape Crisis Service of Saratoga County, Shelters of Saratoga, Cornell Cooperative Extension, 4-H Youth Development, Backstretch Employees Service Team, Saratoga Springs EOC Soup Kitchen, St. Clement's Grade School of Saratoga Springs, Mary's Haven, Franklin Community Center, Gateway House of Peace, Saratoga Center for the Family, St. Clement's Outreach, Jake's Help from Heaven, Rebuilding Together Saratoga, Captain's Youth and Family Services, Unlimited Potential, the Salvation Army of Saratoga Springs, and 18 different food pantries in Saratoga County. All benefit from this Capital Fund running this show and providing all of these services with financial assistance. We run through May 4th here through Sunday. There's a 2-day break, and then we're back starting May 7th, and we run it again. And so we will be on 3 times a day with this segment of interviews and information on the fundraising. 8 to 10 in the mornings, noon to 2, which you're watching that segment now, and then 4 to 6 in the afternoons. We have reports and insights and interviews and various things for you. And we will be doing that through Sunday, and then again starting May 7th through the 11th, we'll do it all again. And I'm very happy to be here. I'm Wayne Williams, glad to be a part of this, and glad to be working with Susan.
Thank you. I'm Susan Kane. Thank you for spending time with us. Just a little bit on the scheduling. Friday, today, is a big day for the juniors and amateur owners. And tomorrow, Saturday, is the $25,000 David B. Wood Cup, the highlight of the entire show. I mean, it's the richest class, the biggest jumps, and the most advanced competitors will be jumping off for $25,000.
Wow.
And that is on Saturday tomorrow. It will not happen before 3 o'clock. And then back again on Sunday with a lot of children's classes and adult amateur classes, equitation finals for this show, Marshall and Sterling League qualifiers. So really Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, great days to come out and spectate. Your admission fees, business that you do on the grounds, souvenirs that you purchase, all go into the Capital Fund of Saratoga, which then gives back to many of the local charities. So if this show is meaningful to you, please take some time, make a donation online on the website. You can text in a donation, call in a donation, and or at the show, there is a kiosk. We've really entered the digital age, so you can come right up to it and punch in your information and be a part of the change that you want to see and support the community in a big way through the horse show. This horse show brings competitors from all over the Northeast, and I see 3 lovely young ladies outside the media tent that are coming in, and I can't wait to meet them and learn all about them.
While they get set up, tell you what, we're just going to have you guys pass that handheld mic back there. You can pass it around. Roger, would you see if that's Jamie Williams out there? Is that Jamie? Jamie will be our next guest. We've got these ladies to talk to. Jamie is out here, and Jamie is with the Franklin Community Center, and we'll be talking there. She's with one of the charities that receives funds from Capital Fund. So we'll be talking with Jamie in just a little bit. Right now, three gorgeous, you're all competitors here, I assume, right? And you all beat each other, you all win, or what is the deal?
It depends what day it is.
From the same stable?
Yes.
Okay, well, introduce yourselves.
Well, hi, my name is Olivia. Hi, my name is Adriana.
Hi, my name is Marielle.
Nice to meet you. Tell us about your Saratoga show experience.
Well, I brought my pony who's only 7 and he's green, and I rode in the 2-3 Open Hunters, and he did really good for us because he's still green and he did really good.
Well,
Good.
congratulations. That's fantastic.
I brought a pony named Tuna, and I did the same class as she did, and I rode this horse named Lucas, and he was really good, and I did the same class as she did.
Well, I didn't show this time because I do cross rails, but I ride Tuna too, which Aid rode too.
And today I'm doing Tuna and my pony Blue in the 2-3 Open Hunters again, and she's doing Lucas, her pony, and then she's going to be doing Tuna in the flat.
Wow, Tuna
Wow.
is getting a lot of
Yeah.
riding.
He's
Now-
a really good pony.
So you two are competing in a lot of the same classes, right? Do you have any side bets? No? It's like who beats who and who has to buy pizza if they win or lose? Or, no?
Okay, so tell us how old each of you are.
I'm 12.
I'm 11.
I'm 10.
How did
You-
you get started?
I began because my mom was riding before me, and she put me on a horse, and I loved it ever since.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom used to ride, and then my older sister used to ride, and then when I was 2, I got on a horse, and I got off, and I said, I want to do it again.
I am sisters with Olivia, so I started the same reason too, and I loved it ever since.
Great. So you're competing today. Have you been competing here before? Did we ask that question?
I competed last year on my
Okay.
old pony Daisy, and we did really good last year too. And
I've competed here for 2 years, and then
And I competed last year too on Tuna.
On Tuna?
Tuna's a saint at our barn.
You're going to have
Tu-
to bring back a picture
Yeah,
of
we
Tuna. or
need
bring
to see Tuna.
Oh, I have it.
because you have a
do?
picture?
Okay.
Get a picture out of Tuna.
Yeah.
We'll get.
We want
That's
to
all
see
right.
Tuna.
You can pull
That's
a picture
okay.
up, and I think Roger behind the camera will be able to zero in on that. And Tuna gets a lot of work.
see if I have it.
Is Tuna a large pony, small pony, medium?
He's large.
A large?
I have a large pony too. And
All right,
this is-
she can do it because she has better ones.
Because Tuna's the one she usually rides.
What's your favorite thing about Tuna?
He'll do anything.
Yeah, he's like the perfect
One
pony.
time there was a jump and I was standing on the other side. He jumped to come right to me.
Oh, that is so precious.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you have a picture of Tuna pulled up there?
Yeah, wait one
Just pick one.
That one.
Okay, we got 2 pictures.
Don't you love that?
Look
All right.
at Tuna.
I don't know. Can you zero in on that? That's pretty good.
And this,
Look, now there's what you're seeing. See?
He's got white markings on his legs, on all 4 legs, or
Yeah.
it looks like the front to all 4, and a white star. Is his body all brown, or does he have some white on him?
And he has
Wow.
some white.
He has just a little bit of light.
Share the mic. Yeah.
and then this is my pony Blue.
Here we go, just like they
All
do
right.
on TV.
Yeah.
This is my pony Blue.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh. Oh, he's beautiful.
That's a good picture. Yeah.
What a sweet, kind eye.
Yeah, just got a face you want to rock right up to and
Yes.
rub.
This is a horse named Lucas that I ride. Yeah, I won
Let's see
first.
Lucas.
I won
Oh.
first place last show at Skidmore. It's a little farther away from here, and that's him.
And he's
Very
a
nice.
full-sized horse, not a pony.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Wow.
I look like really
So share with us some of your favorite moments with horses.
all right. Okay, you can start.
Okay, so my favorite moment was one of the I was riding at this horse show named Stockade, and it was before Hurricane Sandy or Hurricane Irene, I forget, and it started to pour and it was getting really windy, and my pony was old pony Daisy was kind of like a bad pony sometimes, and she would spook a little easily. And what we did was we were coming to our last line in cross rails, and plastic bags started flying into the ring, and then I jumped into my first jump, and I was like, oh no, I'm done. And then I passed the tent, and the tent flipped over, but I finished the line, and I got first place and champion for the day, and I was really excited, and I was just happy that I didn't fall off.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How did you keep your concentration with all that going on
Yeah.
around you?
I was just thinking that hopefully I'll make it through the line. But my pony was really good that day, and I was
Yeah.
really excited.
Great.
Wow.
Great.
My best moment was probably the first time I ever had a show with Lucas. It was the first time I've ever done one with him, and we were going around the ring, and he was perfect, and we just knew that we would have got champion. And then I found out that I was champion, and just ever since we've been a perfect couple together.
Oh, that's so exciting.
So in other words, you were kind of surprised that you got champion, right?
This was my first.
Yeah, that's a nice, pleasant surprise.
My favorite moment was probably over the summer at Hits when I won champion with Tuna, and he was just so perfect.
Wow. Hits is a big show to be
Yeah.
champion at. Congratulations.
And there was
What
Tuna
what
again,
an
right?
achievement. It's no wonder Tuna is everybody's
Right.
favorite.
Right.
Wow. So what are your plans for the summer after the Saratoga Springs Horse Show?
Well, I'm going to Forestdale Camp for 6 days, and it's the advanced riding camp there. And then I'm also going to a bunch of horse shows, and hopefully I'll do good there.
Yeah.
Well, our barn is kind of like a family. So, sometimes I stay up, because there's a house right at the barn. Sometimes I stay there on the summer nights and I ride in the morning. And I just like to go out in the morning and brush the horses and spend time with them.
Probably for most of my summer too, I'll be at the barn taking care of Tuna and brushing him and riding him.
Tuna's very popular.
So
Yes.
girls, where is the barn?
It's in Delancey, and it's called Hunter Way.
Hunter Way. And who's your coach?
My coach is Tracy Peterson.
Peterson.
Sorry.
Tracy Peterson. Very, very nice. It must be a delightful barn because you're all so happy and doing so well.
Yeah.
Wow.
They are very bouncy, aren't they? Very bouncy and
Yes.
excited and
oh
happy.
my
and-
goodness. So do you have more classes today? Or what's
yes.
your schedule?
We're both doing the 2-3 Open Hunter.
You
And
are.
we're doing it next week too.
Oh, you are.
Oh, Thursday and Friday.
So if you have a chance after you've completed your next set of rounds or a few rounds, come back and visit us, and you can tell us about it, and if you have friends that are online that are not here, they can watch
you live on the internet.
on the web at SaratogaSpringsHorseshow.com, so you can let them know
Right.
we'll be on at such and such a time, and we'd love to talk to you some more.
And see, I'll tell you how that's a lucky stroke to do that, because there was a girl that I asked this morning early, come back, she was showing today. I said, after you're done, come back. She came back and sat down, and she was champion, remember?
Yes, yeah.
She said, I got champion.
Grace, right?
Grace,
was
yeah, and I was-
limit equitation
Yeah.
champion.
And I was like, well, that must be a lucky omen that we asked you to come back. And she came back and she was champion. She says, I didn't know I was going to be champion, just like what you said. So maybe this will be a lucky omen. You'll get to come back and tell us that you were first and second.
Well, I'm wearing my lucky socks
You got your lucky
All
socks
right, let's
on?
see your luck. Can we see your lucky socks?
today. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Look at that. Look. Now I'm doing
That'll do it.
a little poll for the Cheshire House, and they want to know, out of these kind of socks, like which horsey print do girls like better?
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one's the winner from the Cheshire
Let's hold those
House.
up so we can show
Yes.
those to, here, I'll hold them up.
They're a Cheshire House, and the girls like the blue one, right?
This,
The one with
this
the blue
one, no, this one
background.
right here.
Yeah.
They like this one, okay. Which has the blue sky and water.
And a reflection.
Yeah, reflection. Yeah.
Fancy, fancy socks. Well, good luck with those lucky socks.
Thank you.
And just wave goodbye to everybody, and when you get a chance, come back and see us again.
Great.
All right.
Thank
Good luck,
you very
girls.
much. Good luck.
Bye.
Good luck. All right, we're going to bring Jamie Williams in here, and while Jamie's getting situated, we'll tell you it is the Saratoga Springs Horse Show. It is for
Charity,
for
yes.
a good cause. Many organizations benefit from the Capital Fund of Saratoga County, and Jamie is with one of those that does benefit, and it's Jamie is with the Franklin Community Center, and we're going to find out all about that in a moment. But you know, you can donate money, as well as all the monies that are raised here at the horse show go to the various charities all around the Saratoga County area. And you see a number on your screen. You can call and do it by telephone. You can text into Saratoga at 50155, do a secure donation that way, or use our kiosk right here. Any way that you do it, the donations are appreciated, and they all go to a very good
Yes,
cause.
they benefit many causes, and
Right here
Jamie's
with
is
us
one of them.
is
so-
Jamie Williams.
Yes.
And I should remember that since I'm Wayne Williams. But Jamie, you are with Franklin, with the Franklin Community Center.
Yes.
Tell us about the center and exactly what you do at the center.
Franklin Community Center is a social service agency, human service agency located over on the west side of Saratoga. We were established over 30 years ago, so we've been here a long time, and we work very hard to provide basic necessities for people in our community. One of our largest programs is our food pantry. We have a non-perishable food pantry which serves items to people every 30 days. They just need to come in. We're a small agency, and we started out of a need in the community, and so we work really hard to keep that small town feel. So when people come in, they're able to access our services without a lot of red tape, without a lot of paperwork, without having to bring a lot of things with them to use our services. And a unique thing about us, our services aren't limited to Saratoga. Anyone who needs help can come through our doors, they can ask for help, and we'll do the best that we can to serve them. In addition to our food pantry, another really large program that we have that people are familiar with is Project Lift, which is our after-school prevention program. That was also established in the late 80s in the Saratoga Springs City School District. We're at 2 different elementary schools, and we provide after-school programming focused on alcohol, tobacco, and violence prevention, social skills, self-esteem, you name it, we touch upon it. We enroll the kids and the students in the beginning of the school year in October, and we keep that same core group all the way through June. We do have some students who come and go, so there is a little bit of fluctuation in our group, but it's really unique in the fact that we have them for that entire year, and then they're eligible to stay in the program through 5th grade. So ideally, we get a student comes in 1st grade, and we have them all the way through 5th grade. So we get to see them grow, we get to see their family evolve, we get to provide them with all the services of the community center. In addition, summer camp scholarships and holiday assistance. We have a family outreach educator who works directly with these families to make sure they have what they need, whether it be electricity or health insurance or cleats for soccer. You know, those small things that we don't think about. You don't think about cleats, but it's a big deal in that world. And so we aim to provide all of those services to our families. Then we have our free store, which is also very popular. And that is a program of Franklin Community Center. It's a separate building kind of around the corner from us. We rehabbed it and rebuilt it, and it's got some affordable apartments upstairs. And the apartments, the rent from the apartments kind of covers the cost of the building, or ideally covers the cost of the building. And the bottom floor has donations that we accept weekly, and it's in-season clothing and small household wares. And then people can shop for those items 3 days a week. We're open Wednesday through Friday for people to come in and shop for free. So they can take whatever's there that they need that would be most beneficial to their family. And then larger items such as couches and beds and things like that, I kind of equate it to a dating game for furniture. I know.
Can you expound on
But,
that?
yeah, I can actually. I should, right?
This has me intrigued at the moment. Okay.
We keep a running list going of people who have and people who need, and we work really hard to facilitate that relationship. So you could call me and say you have a couch that you're looking to get rid of, but you don't have transportation, but you'd like to donate it. And you may call up and say, I'm really looking for a couch, but I have transportation. We keep all of those notes and we keep all that information, and then we put
Marry
the two,
everybody
we
together.
marry everyone
Right.
together, and then we kind of step back. We made it work that way because we don't have storage. Storage is a premium in our world. So we work really hard to facilitate that relationship. And it's been going for years, and it's been going really successfully. So, it's that tricky little walky walk, but it works.
It's repurposing stuff that people need and putting it in the hands of the people that need it.
Exactly.
And all you do is you facilitate, and that's
Yeah.
your job. To facilitate. It's not your job to be the person who goes out and loads
Yeah.
that couch
No,
and
we
hauls
don't-
it over
yeah.
there, right?
Yep.
Right.
And we don't store it, and we don't check them out ahead of time, but we do, and it works really well. We don't have any complaints coming in, and we're making that match for people. And you see a lot of times it's people, baby furniture, and kids like twin beds for children and things like that. That's what we see a lot of, and it feels really good to be able to make that match.
Right. Because that's where you reach a point with families where, okay, when it's something for these kids and those needs for the kids, adults can get a bed and they can live with that bed for a long time.
Right.
Okay, they may want a new one, but
Wanting and needing are
is
different
a different
things.
thing. But as kids grow, they need those.
They need things.
So therefore, that's where the need really comes in. And quite obviously, that's the best thing you can do with the shelter is help those kids.
Absolutely.
I can see that one. Yes.
Our biggest need right now is our food pantry. Coming into the summer months, our food pantry gets hit very hard. A lot of the families who utilize our pantry have children in school, and so once school lets out, that's 2 additional meals every day that the kids were normally getting at school that it's
Right.
now on their parents to provide them, and it's food. You have to provide it. It's
So-
not an option.
So they provide a breakfast as well as a lunch.
Breakfast
right?
and lunch. They have free and reduced programs, which most of the people who utilize our pantry are falling under one category or the
Right.
other.
So the kids are getting 2 good meals a day until
Set
school's
days
out.
Until
Yeah.
school's out, and
Right.
then it's up to us. And so in other pantries in the area, so it's really important for people in the community to really think about that in the summer and to make those donations and to bring them in, not just to our pantry, but to the pantries that are in the area, because we're all getting hit pretty hard in the
Right.
summer.
Right. So you are one of those. Not only is it the community center, but you're probably one of those that the food pantry is falls under that same category of help from the capital fund.
Oh, absolutely. The Capital Fund has come in a lot. We've met with Tom quite a bit. We've gotten very familiar with him, and we really value the relationship that we have and the support that they've given us, and the nice support that we get from them. There's usually never strings attached to it. It's here's some money, do what you need with it. Let us see, you know where your need is, what we can do for you. Please do
Yeah.
that.
If you are running a successful pantry, if you're doing those things, for somebody above you to come in and say, "Here's money, but here's what you got to do with it," that becomes very tough. Eventually, nobody wins.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
To say you are the expert, you know what you need. Here is the
Exactly.
money. Do it.
Because
is-
our needs change frequently.
By
I mean,
far
one
the
day
best.
we may need cereal and be completely out, and then the next day we may have cereal and be out of
Yeah.
sauce, or there's a lot more that goes into the pantry than
Right.
just the food on the shelves in addition.
So but you are the ones that know what it takes to do it. So we're going to give you the support to do it, and that's great.
Yes.
It's great that they do
Yes.
that, no strings, because ultimately, what the goal is just to help the people in the community that need the help.
Exactly. So-
Jamie, can you share with us some of your most touching success stories from your viewpoint?
Oh God, yes, I can. Let me think for 1 second. I'm trying to think of some of my favorites. Do you want me to talk specifically with the pantry or with the center in general?
center.
Really,
in
what's
general.
been most meaningful to you and why?
Our all of our programs are very meaningful to me. Project Lift holds a really special place in my heart because when I started at the center over 10 years ago, I started as the family outreach educator for Project Lift. So I know a lot about it, and I know what it takes to make sure that those families are successful. And so we had a case this year, and it was a Project Lift participant had an older sister who has some disabilities, and she didn't have a bed, we found out. She wasn't sleeping on a bed, she was sleeping on a mattress, but she didn't have a bed. And you don't have to have a bed. It's not a necessity to have a bed, but you want a bed. I mean, and you want every child to grow up having that. And so, you know, we kind of threw around the office, where are we going to get her a bed? How are we going to get her a bed? What are we going to do? And then we went out and we actually put it on Facebook. And we had a longtime supporter of the center instantly call and say, I've got that bed. You just tell me how much I need to write that check for. That little girl should have her own bed. And within less than a week, this girl had a nice, like a headboard, a footboard, a mattress, a box spring. She had all those things. And when you think about a story like that, you're like, oh, it's just a bed, but the smile on her face and being able to provide her with that. Another really recent story, and it was out in the papers, is we had a man walk through our doors who was staying at the shelters of Saratoga. He had experience with carpentry. He'd been a carpenter for years. Due to losing a layoff, what followed the layoff was eventually losing, their apartment. His children and his fiance had to go live with their family. He wound up in the shelters of Saratoga. He had to sell off his tools in order to try to keep the family together ahead of time. And he came into our office looking for a ticket to get into our free store because he needed some work clothes because he had secured a job. But he had to have certain things in place before he was able to go to work. So he had a job, but he really couldn't start it. And luckily he came in and we were all kind of there doing some different stuff, and the store wasn't open, so we were trying to ask him some questions because we were going to refer him somewhere, and we said, I think we can make this happen. And that's what we did. We started a public campaign and we got some of the local media involved. And within, I would say, 2 weeks, he had everything that he needed to start his job. And now, he stayed in touch with us. And when we said, there's a condition and we need some carpentry work, we're going to call on you because we need carpentry work all the time. But he's gainfully employed now. And that's the first step. He's got that first step.
Oh, that's
now
tremendous.
He's still working to get, save his money and do the apartment, but he's got that foundation is built.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and some stories are touching, and I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a very, very poor community in South Dakota. And a reporter asked a little girl, and basically she was in school, but she had nothing. And it was coming up on Christmas, and he said, what do you want for Christmas? And she says, can I ask for 2 things? And he said, yes. She said, I want a present for my little brother and running water in our house.
Yeah.
And that's not
Things.
the second statement you expected to hear.
No.
But, they didn't have any running water in the house.
And it happens too often,
Right.
and you don't see that. And I think a lot of what is kind of not an issue in Saratoga, but what happens in Saratoga is you see Broadway and you see the glitz and the glamour and the wealth, but you don't see what's behind it.
Right.
And you always hear, oh, Saratoga, it's a very affluent community. And yes, there are very affluent people living in our community, but there is the other end of the spectrum that you are just not seeing.
And and I don't know this, not being from Saratoga, I don't know this, but I know in other parts of the world it happens. Like in Wisconsin, there is Wisconsin Dells is a very, spectator type place, vacation spot in the summer. But many of the people who work in the Dells in the service jobs can't afford to live in the Dells.
No.
So they live out and commute because the wages paid aren't commensurate to live in the area where they work. And that happens in a lot of those communities that are in that
Hotspots
in
and
those
tourists.
hotspot area. Okay, and I don't know if that is true here.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But if you, I know the people that work in the service jobs here probably cannot live anywhere near the center of Saratoga.
Yeah, it's becoming increasingly more expensive to live in Saratoga. And then with all of the restaurants and hotels and horse industries that we have here, it takes a lot of people to make that run. And those service workers, it's just unattainable for them. And then we do, of course, have migrant workers who come in who follow the horses and come with the tracks.
Right.
And so it
They're here for
becomes very
prescribed
Exactly.
periods of time, and then they're gone. Right.
So it's a wonderful community. And there are sections that are affluent, there are sections that are not affluent. And I don't know too many of these other areas, but I do know Saratoga. What I feel makes our area really unique is that there are all these service workers who can't afford a lot of the things in Saratoga, but our community is super generous. There are so many nonprofits that are thriving in Saratoga and able to provide different services for the people, and that is because of our community, 100%.
That I agree with.
People are so generous here.
When you look at this and you look at what this does and how much money that this fund has been able to provide in just a couple of years, you know the community is generous.
Absolutely.
Very, very well placed meaning, of the people that live in this area.
Saratoga has a huge heart, which keeps it going. It truly keeps it alive for this many nonprofits to be able to provide these services and to be able to do so and continue to do so throughout the years. We've been here, over 30 years. That's a testament right there. And so have so many other nonprofits. And it relies on the community. It relies on the affluent part and the industry part of that community to keep those nonprofits alive.
I'm going to say something, and please don't get mad at me for being politically incorrect here. Susan's already scared.
Uh-oh.
I just want to say, actually, our guest is Jamie Williams from the Franklin Community Center. And the Franklin Community Center is a beneficiary of the Capital Fund of Saratoga, which is why this horse show exists, is because of the Capital Fund. The money that it generates from admissions, from donations from the general public, from the proceeds from the horse show, all go back to the community. And you can hear from Jamie's very touching stories, really how much money from this horse show helps people
It's
that
imperative.
are down and out.
Right. And the statement I was going to make is that it is a testimony to how the American people can take care of each other. We don't need continual government intervention to do that. The American people can do this and will do it, and this is a testimony to that. Nobody is coming up here and making this happen. This is the people doing it for people, okay? And it happens very well without the government trying to control it.
We were just talking at our office the other day about the amount of volunteers we're seeing that are in their 20s, that are either in college or in college and working, or working that are really looking to give back to their community, and it's growing and growing and growing. And I think these new generations that are coming out are really community oriented. And want to get involved and are looking to do so, even though they don't have a lot of their own free time. They're looking to take a portion of that free time and give it back to their community.
And that's a cycle. If you look at the economic cycles of this country, every time we come out of a very down economic time, the service industry picks up. Just go back and look at it. Study your history. It happens every time. And this generation is realizing it too. We had a very rough last 4 or 5 years economically. We're starting to come out of it. But these people in their 20s who all of a sudden saw funds to go to college and things dry up, and they had to dig in and find other ways, are the ones that are now saying, look,
it made a difference.
We can work through this. And that is a cycle that history will repeat itself year after year in that same thing.
It's so wonderful to see.
It is.
And not only to see people volunteering and giving a part of themselves, but also coming into agencies like mine. And I can't speak for other agencies, I shouldn't say that. I am not computer savvy. And they are. So they come in, these 20 and 30-year-old people that can whip out an Excel document and, half the time it takes me to open the document. And so they are doing more for our agency than they can even imagine that they're doing. It's nice to see.
It's like when I can get something done on my new Samsung cell phone, I give it to the 6-year-old grandson.
And they'll whip right through that.
He can do it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But he can do it. Right?
My son's 2 years old, and I'm not, that technology is not me. It's just not my strong suit. And I don't even know where he learned it, but he'll pick up the phone and he'll just start swiping, or the Kindle, and he knows how to do it. I'm like, how do you know just to put your finger on that and swipe the page right over?
Because that's what they're growing up with.
Yeah.
He should be standing at the kiosk helping.
I know, right?
That's right. Yeah, I was 10 years old.
You
So
love that. All right.
Donations.
when I was 10, I was
Swipe,
still
swipe.
working on tying shoes. Okay.
I know.
And but you know, it's just amazing what they do.
Yeah.
Well, we are certainly glad to have you join us.
Well, I
and,
appreciate the opportunity. I really was looking forward to coming down here and seeing this and having
nice
a chance to
meet
talk with you.
Yeah, it's very nice to meet you. Don't forget, and you can take part of this too. Ben and Jerry's is right back over here. You get a free ice cream cone between now and 3 o'clock. Cone and get it. Or while
Cone
supplies
and get it.
last.
That's
Cone and get it.
fantastic. I
Yeah.
love that.
I love that. Yeah. So you know, go tell them you need a couple of dozen. Take them back to the center. Save
know,
them for
right?
people. No, I'm just. But you know, go get yourself a free. You like Ben and Jerry's?
Who doesn't like Ben and Jerry's?
Well
What is that?
said.
What kind of question is
What
that?
kind of question is that, right? Yes. But no, what you're doing is it's a wonderful project, and I'm very glad that the Capital Fund is supporting what you're doing and that you guys are
And
working together.
we appreciate it. And we try to help the Capital Fund out any way we can. I know when they had the Horse Expo in the fall, myself and my executive director were there moving fences for them and doing whatever they needed to be done. We value and realize the importance of volunteers.
Great. And I want to say hi to all the people back in your office who I think are watching you.
Oh, they are. Oh, they are. Oh, yes. Online.
Because
They're
when I
online. 'Cause
called,
we don't have any television,
when
so they
I
went online.
called to verify that you were coming,
I know.
The gal says, yes, she has it on her calendar. I said, great, we'll be looking for her. And then she says, but don't tell her we're going to be watching. She'll be nervous. And so I haven't brought this up until
Yes.
now.
Oh, no. Oh, they informed me before I left.
Oh, did they?
So, oh, yes. Oh, we had a staff lunch today. We actually have a staff member. It's her last day today. So we sat down and had lunch because we're small. We're very small. So it's not even a giant table that we sit at. It's smaller than this, and we all fit at it. And they informed me then that they will all be watching it together.
Hi,
And if
guys.
it was later in the day, they were hoping it was going to be later so that they could be watching it at the after-school program with the children.
Oh.
So
Well, let's wave to the
Everybody
staff
wave.
back in the
Wave to the
office.
staff. Great.
And we wish you continued success, Jamie, with the Franklin Community Center, and thank you for your time.
thanks for having
Much
me. I appreciate it.
Thank you very
It's
much.
great meeting you.
Thank
Nice
you.
meeting
Thanks,
you.
Jamie.
Thank you.
All right, don't forget to take your mic off.
Oh yeah, I would have totally.
I remind people of that.
that would have taken down.
Well, it would have been interesting. Okay. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
All right. Because of what you just heard, remember it is the Saratoga Springs Horse Show, and there are ways you can donate funds to help things like Jamie with the
Franklin Community
Franklin
Center,
Community.
feeding people, giving people furniture, clothing, goodness, free
soup,
shopping,
yeah, but
food.
There's soup kitchens, there's Salvation Army, there's pantries, there's all kinds of ways or people that benefit from this. So you'll see going across your screen, you can text Saratoga to 50155 for a secure donation. You can call. We have people on the phones to answer at 518-306-5121 and make a secure donation. Or if you're on the grounds, we have a kiosk and we have a 6-year-old that will show you how to use it. And they are right inside here in the exhibitor tent, and they would be glad to take a secure donation that way as well. So we have
young
I am
ladies
house- I
headed
am
into the
housekeeping
onto
here.
the couch.
We have more
the
guests
media
coming here.
tent.
Saratoga Horse Show.
Hello.
Well, by golly, they're not bashful. So we-
Oh, very good. Tell us your names.
I'm Colette Cacciatore. I'm Carly Berman.
Hello. Nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you.
Tell us about your Saratoga Horse Show experience.
So we've been coming here for like a few years now, I guess. We love it every time we come. It's such a
Yeah.
great horse show. There's a really good competition, but it's also like very calm and relaxing. So.
I'm going to ask you a favor. Would it bother your hair terribly if you tilted your hat back a little
No, it's good.
so they could see your face? Because with your hat pulled down, they can't see your face. We want everybody to see your smiling face on camera. There you go. Thank you.
Much better. Okay, so what divisions are you competing in?
I do 12 to 14.
Pull the microphone up there.
I do 12 to 14 equitation and some of the 3-6 equitation too. Yeah, I compete in the big equitation, like the youth set, the talent surge, and like the minimal clay. So.
Who's your trainer?
Joyce Mercero. I train with Corey Hardy and Timmy Keys.
Very nice. And how do you girls know one another?
We go to school together, and we have houses in the Cape together, and we used to ride at the same barn. Yeah,
So
we're
where
really good.
are you from?
Lexington, Massachusetts. Both of us are.
Is that, and you say, is that out on the Cape, or is that, no?
It's near Boston.
Near Boston?
Yeah.
Okay. On the south side, north side?
Uh,
Too tough. North? West side.
West Side, there you go.
Near Framingham?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
around that area.
I used to go to Sterling out there. You know where Sterling is? A little
I've
further?
heard of it. Yeah.
We've heard of it.
Yeah.
Nice area out there. I
Yeah.
like it. Yes.
Okay, so I have a question you'll probably know the answer to. How old are each of you?
I'm 15. Same, I'm 15 as well.
Both 15?
Yep.
Very nice. And tell us about your horses.
My horse is Blackie, and I got him in June. And he was my horse to move from 3 foot up to 3'6".
How has the move been since June?
It's been really good and successful. We have our mistakes, as everybody does, but he's been really good and taking care of me.
What
It's
are
been
some of
great.
the biggest challenges you've faced in making that move from 3 foot to 3'6"?
Well, over the winter, we weren't jumping, so he could rest because he had a hurt foot. So then not jumping the whole winter and then starting back up in 3'6", quickly, right after the winter, getting ready for the season was pretty challenging.
Do the jumps seem bigger to you? Does the 6 inches make a perceptive difference?
I think it makes a difference in the way the horse jumps and your position on the horse. Yeah, it just feels different.
Yeah, I think it's the courses are a lot more technical as well. They're a lot more challenging, and the judges expect more, I think.
So let me ask a question in this regard. You guys can all answer for me. When you go up to 6 inches, does the width of the jump standards change, or just the height?
Yeah, the width also changes as well with the height difference.
So it does get wider?
I think it's wider.
So it makes a better target for the horse then?
Yeah.
All right. And so that changes. The pole diameter stays the same.
Yes.
But the standards get wider and it gets
Jump
higher.
gets taller.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just that for my own information. Thank you.
So tell us about your horse.
So my horse's name is Poe. Japo Sao is his show name. I bought him in December from Alexandra Marichek, and she was 4th place at Harrisburg on him. So
Wow,
yeah, and
he's experienced.
me and Alex have actually become really good friends over the winter and during our Florida circuit, and we compete in the big equitation and the talent search. And he's just a really good boy, and he always takes care of me. So it's a really good time.
Was Allison helpful in giving you tips on how to get along with him?
Yeah,
and ride him?
Alex, she's really good about explaining it, and she had him for 5 years, so she knew him really well.
Yeah.
So
Wow. What color is he?
he is a bay.
And how big?
He is 17'3".
Oh, nice.
He's
Wow.
really big. Yeah.
Very
You
nice.
need a ladder, right?
Must-
He's a very
Well,
big horse.
Probably the jumps look tiny from Poe's back.
Exactly.
At 17.3, 6 more inches doesn't matter much to him on jumping.
Exactly.
He still breezes over 3.6, I guess.
He's a good boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have been some of your most memorable horse show moments over the years?
I was in Florida this circuit. I was 5th in the Maclay, and that was a really big moment for me because with my new horse, we were still getting to know each other, and the classes are very competitive down there, so that was really important to me. But.
Yes.
Mine was probably so far just getting my horse Blackie. We haven't placed in any finals yet or anything, but just getting him was so special.
How did you get him?
Well, I had to beg my parents a lot. Yeah, but that
Get down on one knee and please.
yeah, that one day we had tried 10 horses, and I was so tired. So by the end of the day, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna ride this last horse, just try to get through it. And it was just perfect. The second I rode him, I knew this is definitely the right horse.
How did you know? What did you feel that was different from the other 9 horses?
Just everything that I'd signal for him to do, he'd just respond, and it was the way that I did it. It was he responded just the right way, and to jumps and stuff, I was able to find most of my distances, and it didn't go so well with the other horses.
Yeah.
So it was nice to have a good fit.
Was he just more comfortable altogether for you to sit on?
Yeah,
Yeah. How old is Blackie?
he's 9.
And had he done quite a bit of showing before you tried him?
Yeah, his previous owner did like USET and all the Big X classes too, and a bunch of finals and stuff.
So he knows the ropes pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you feel confident when you go in the ring on him since he's already done that?
Yeah, and he's been to Saratoga like a lot of times too, more than I have. So like he knows the show and he knows the rings and yeah.
He's been more times than you.
Yeah.
That helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So what are some of your goals for this show in particular?
This show was a lot. It's our first show back, well, for mine, from Winter Circuit, and it was just like getting back into the show ring and doing like just getting confident again and like just learning, I guess. So.
Yeah, basically like the same thing for me. It's just like getting the experience and hopefully like some points for some classes and
Points
stuff.
for sure for the finals and the
Yeah,
fall, so.
and also just to like have fun.
Yeah,
do
it's such
well.
a fun horse show.
Yeah.
Do you feel nervous or competitive pressure when points come into play?
I think a lot of times the points like get to people's heads, and when I focus on getting the points, I never get them, and I just tried to do my best, and hopefully it works out. So. Yeah.
So what's your favorite thing about horses?
I love how they just try everything for you, and when like a specific bond between a horse and a rider, it just clicks. It just works out really well, and they'll do anything for you.
Isn't it nice when you get on that horse and everything clicks together?
Oh, for sure.
Doesn't it feel really
It's
good?
awesome. It's the best feeling in the world.
It's like when you go in that gate and you start, if it clicks, you're going to have a great ride.
Yeah.
And if it's not clicking, it's going to be drudgery for the entire ride, right?
Well, for sure.
Because you never seem to get it back, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are some of the mental preparations you do so that when you do go in the ring, you're really focused and not distracted?
My trainer actually, I have to have a social timeout before I ride. A half an hour before I ride, I have to go sit in like a corner by myself, and he takes away my phone, and I just have to watch the course and like make sure I'm focused. That's a new thing, but.
See, now there's one I never thought of in school. We're going to punish you by taking away your phone.
And what about you, Carly?
So I just make sure that I know my course, and I don't have social timeouts, but I like try to stay away. Like if my mom's coming up to me and is like, "Do you know your course? Like, do you have this? Do you have that?" I have to like take a step back and be like, "Don't talk to me for a minute." Like I have to like just like think for a minute, and I watch the course, and that usually does the trick.
Speaking of moms, can you offer all the girls at home that are right now pleading with their moms for a new horse some really good begging tips that are obviously successful because you have Blackie?
Yours worked, right?
So,
Well, for like months and months and months, I like offered to do all the dishes in my house and like keep my room clean, and I even walk the dog, like pick up the dog's like bathroom stuff, and like I even offered, I was like, if you want to, like, I'll babysit, I'll get a job, like I'll do whatever it takes, and just like be on your best behavior.
Yeah, I think for sure that had a lot to do with it, and just being respectful and like being grateful for what they've already given you is a big tip.
Beautiful line. That'll break a mother over right there anytime. You know, being respectful and thankful for what. But it's so true. And I have to ask you a question. You said you offered to do the dishes. Did you do the dishes?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did.
There's a big difference between offering to and actually doing it. I just had to know that.
very, very good. Well, girls, if you have a chance to come back after some of your rounds, we're here through the weekend and would love to hear about Poe and Blackie and how it went, and you know, if you achieved your goals and how the social timeout works.
While you're running the course, have a notepad out.
Or maybe text us. You know, so.
and jot down all the notes so you can come back and describe your runs to us so we know how your rounds went.
We will.
Do that.
Thank you so much for having us.
Maybe you'll come back as a champion. Who knows?
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh, and if you cone, if you want to get an ice
free
cream
ice cream
cone.
cone.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ben and Jerry's right over here. Go
All
get a
right.
free ice cream
Bye, girls.
cone.
Bye, Carly.
Thank you. Cone and get it. That's what it is, right?
Cone and get it. Cone
At
and
Ben and Jerry's. Thank
get
you.
it.
Hey, two nice young ladies there, and hopefully they come back and one of them is a victor.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. Lovely young girls. We didn't get to do the sock survey with them,
Oh, that's right. Oh, well.
but maybe next time.
Next time. We have plenty of time. Hey, don't forget Saratoga Springs Horse Show, run by the Capital Fund of Saratoga County, benefiting soup kitchens and like the Franklin Center that Jamie Williams was here from. Youth Services, Salvation Army, and 18 different food pantries. So you can, as you see going by on your screen, text Saratoga to 50155 for a secure donation. Call our phone line. We have phone operators, 518-306-5121, and make a secure donation or come use the kiosk here at the showgrounds in the exhibitor tent. Right near where all of the Saratoga merchandise is sold, such as this, or such as actually we're using one of their nice t-shirts as a drop to the front of our set here, which says Saratoga.
Yep, really nice right here.
And very nice. So you can, all that is in that exhibitor tent right here. And if you get here before 3 o'clock, it's after 3 o'clock. No, it isn't. It's 20 till 2. Get here before 3 o'clock, you can get some free ice cream at Ben
Yeah,
and
hey, there
Jerry's.
might be a little bit left.
Might
by
be
the
a little
time
Cherry
we're,
Garcia left over there. Not that I like
We're-
that, but anyway,
we're off
donate.
the
It's a
air.
great cause. Thank you.
Oh, well, Ben & Jerry's is a sponsor, and I'd like to recognize two of our other Daily Double sponsors. One is the Equine Journal. The Equine Journal is a monthly publication, really just chock full of information, primarily about Northeast horse clubs, activities in the Northeast, and a really thick magazine. Has different stables advertised, blacksmiths, veterinary firms, covers the Northeast in a very comprehensive manner. Comes out every month. This is the April edition, has a leg up on saddle fit, which is very important for multiple disciplines. And the beauty of this particular journal is it does cover multiple disciplines. You'll find Morgan horses, gaited horses, saddlebreds, hunter, jumper, western, different breeds, Friesians are in here. So it really covers the Northeast equine community in a comprehensive manner, and we want to thank the Equine Journal for their sponsorship. They are a Daily Double sponsor of the Saratoga Springs Horse Show, and another Daily Double sponsor, an appropriate name for being here in Saratoga at the racetrack, is St. Lawrence University. And St. Lawrence University has a very successful intercollegiate college show team. The girls that are at the college can bring their horses, and they do a lot of showing on the intercollegiate circuit. In 2012 and 2013, they were in fact the national champions. So if you're thinking of going to college and bringing your horse in tow, do consider St. Lawrence University here in upstate New York. We're very grateful and appreciative for their support, which is a big part of making this show happen and keeping all of the exhibitors happy in the process.
Absolutely, and I can't think of a better way if you're really into horses than to going to college with your horse.
That would be just the most fantastic years of college.
Well, there's a future equestrian out there.
I see.
You can't see it, but there's
I
a
see
little kid
that.
that should be in the stroller, but he's decided, he or she, I guess it's a he, decided pushing it is more appropriate
It's
than
more
riding it.
fun.
There
More
we
fun.
go get him.
Good news is there's lots of foot traffic out and about.
Yeah, it's
And-
the weather's better than it was. It's kind of coming and going, and we're going to have another segment that comes up here at 4 o'clock. We've still got about 15 minutes or so in this one.
We do, and I've got some really fun items from the Cheshire horse, which is in the vendor area. In addition to the 3 rings that are going, we have a Horsetown vendor area, which is filled with equine products, beautiful jewelry from Ireland, cosmetics to keep the skin nice when you're outside all of the time. So quite a variety of things. But from the Cheshire House, I've got some treats. We had a little girl on earlier who feeds her pony stud muffins.
She says, but that says minty muffins.
These are the German minty muffins, an all-natural horse treat, and these are available at the Cheshire House, which is in the vendor area. Minty, I see nice big peppermints in the middle of each minty muffin. So we've got an oat muffin centered with a nice red and white peppermint. And horses just tend to love peppermints. I haven't met one that doesn't like a peppermint. I'm hungry and they smell good.
They do smell pretty good. I mean, not that I...
Oh, molasses,
molasses
mint,
and oats and
oats,
mint.
all
And a
natural.
peppermint right inside. Look at that. Now that is, you can see that. The peppermint right inside the oats and molasses.
And that's from the Cheshire House,
yes.
right here in the vendor
Does
village.
that smell good?
Along with apple flavor bite-size nuggets. Winning horses usually enjoy being rewarded with a treat. So if you're looking for treats for your horse, Cheshire House has those two and several more. That's all I could come out with because the girls were in line buying them.
Well, that's okay. Those, you know, there are many different types of treats out there and there are many brands, but these are both great ones.
Yeah.
And if you're on grounds watching on your tablet or handheld device, you can come up here and get some of these. Your horse would greatly appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
The horse would know how to beg for it like the girl knows how to beg for the horse. Right?
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
Well, they like their treats and they also like to be groomed. So the
Oh,
Cheshire
yes.
House has quite a selection of colorful brushes. This is a nice pink, orange, and white. Has a rubberized handle and nice medium brush. And you know, it's very interesting, Wayne. Certain horses like certain brushes. Some of them like a soft brush. Thoroughbreds in particular do not like a bristly brush. They're pretty thin-skinned, whereas a draft horse likes a nice, vigorous curry. How about your Palomino at home? What does he like?
Basically just scratched under his belly and under his chin.
Oh, that's
I mean, they're,
sweet.
you know, this time of year where we're shedding out in Wisconsin, if you don't blanket and stable, and we don't blanket, so therefore, you know, there's a lot of winter hair yet to come off, but it's been rolling off in big rolls. We use a shedding blade, and he likes the shedding blade. Now that obviously that's metal and that's a little rougher, but he's a big guy. He's like 16'2" and probably goes about 1,300 pounds.
Oh, he sounds beautiful.
He's a big guy, and so what happens is, you know, he loves that, and you can just feel that ripple down his back as you do it. But when he comes to you and wants to walk under the blade, if you're not doing it, then you know he likes it.
He
Right.
likes it. He likes it. Well, this particular brush is kind of like a face brush. It's on the soil. It's
bristles
stiff,
on
but
it.
it's soft. You know,
Yeah.
it's not harsh at all. And
Yeah, that would be perfect to use, you know, face, neck, you know, right around those areas where you don't want to be quite so rough.
oh, nice
Would be
reward for a
perfect.
job
Yes.
well done for a horse. And that's
Yes.
available at the Cheshire House. Is a little trailer in the horse vendor village and is loaded with just about everything you can imagine. I'm shocked at how much is in that little space. They've got saddle pads, they've got bridles, they've got tendon boots, they've got stall guards, really a sampling of everything you could possibly need when you're on the road with your horse. Very colorful polo wraps, all sorts of goodies.
And that's, you know, when you're at a show that's going to run the number of days of this show, you need a tack shop with all those things available because there's always going to be something you either run out of, forgot, or need in an emergency.
And it just so happens
So-
I have a few more items.
What a
from
parlay,
Cheshire
right? Look at
House.
that,
I
yeah.
couldn't resist. I was over there. The most delightful girl is all by herself running the running the shop. So
You were
she
looking
took
for
a
gloves
moment.
yesterday.
I know. I'm ready to put these gloves on. For equitation riders, gloves are really part of the turnout, and we know what our friend Frank Willard says about turnout, very, very important, and especially in equitation, it is the rider that is being judged. The body, the arms, the hands, the position of the leg. That form relates to function with the horse. So not only form and function, but really turnout, how you look. A pair of gloves gives a very finished look to a rider on a horse. In fact, it's startling when you don't see a set of gloves on an equitation rider. So the Cheshire House has quite a selection. These have a little bit of fill in them, so they're warmer. They have some that are very thin. I can speak for myself. All the years that I rode, I liked something with a little grip and tact to it, but as thin as could possibly be, because I didn't want anything between the feel of that horse's mouth and the reins in my hands. So that selection is available at Cheshire House. For the pony riders today, typically pony riders wear jodhpurs, and jodhpurs are breeches or pants, and this is the bottom of the jodhpur. It actually has a little bit of a cuff on it. Reason being, riders on ponies generally don't wear boots if they're little, and they have what's called jodhpur boots, a little paddock boot that is just ankle high and comes out and covers the foot, whereas the other riders will have on boots that come up to just under their knee. So that's a little bit of a difference between breeches, which don't have a cuff, and jodhpurs, which do. So you'll see both being utilized by riders today. Jodhpurs primarily in the pony ring and on younger riders who are not in a full set of boots yet.
I
The
feel
wind is picking up. I think it's time to cover up a little bit
I
of
think it's blowing in
what
something.
we've
I'll tell you
got.
what. You keep
I'm going
talking
to keep-
about your product.
I'm going to keep.
Have we done this before?
We have. We've had a rehearsal for this very, very situation, and
get
it's
this
coming in
microphone You go right
quite
ahead and keep
quite
talking.
strong. I'm going to put my hood up and show off. This is a wake up and ride bag from the Cheshire House. So if you're sleepy, maybe this will help you wake up and ride a little bit. Available at the Cheshire House. It's actually a helmet cover. You can see the wind is really coming through here at this point. We're gonna cover up here. That's our maestro behind us who keeps everything flowing. There we go. In case we have any horses that get loose in this wind, we actually have some halters in the media tent. So one of the trends coming out of the Cheshire House are colorful halters to really show off some of the personality of your horse. So there's a more traditional plaid, almost like a Burberry plaid with leather accents. Maybe for a nice hunter that's a little bit more traditional. Very nice, comfortable halter. Has a throat latch on it for easy access on and off. And then for a little more modern hip design, we've got a nice bright blue halter with an owl motif. So this is for a horse that's probably a little more on the fun and funky side compared to our traditional horse that would prefer the Burberry looking halter.
Very nice.
And you're back.
Very nice. We are
It's
closed
kind of
in.
it's fashion. It's fashion for horses.
We are calling this
Woo!
Saratoga Horse Show at Saratoga Springs Survival 2.
Oh my goodness!
It's our reality version.
It is very, very, very
wind really
chilly.
came up.
All of a sudden, it really,
It couldn't give us 7 more minutes, could it?
really picked up. No. Oh goodness!
What did I miss here? What is this?
That is the Wake Up and Ride, a helmet cover.
Oh, okay. All right.
Helmet cover.
See, I missed that.
You did. Well, before we go to close up this segment, I'd like to read off some remembrances of participants of the Saratoga Horse Show over the years. These are volunteers, friends, and supporters who have passed away in the last year, since the last show in 2013, and they were an integral part of making this show happen. They enjoyed it. I actually remember these faces from over the years. Mary Lou Burmeister of Doylestown, Pennsylvania. She passed away in June at 76 years old. And Mary Lou had been part of the Saratoga Horse Show for about 35 years. She was a good friend of Jan Smith, and any of us on the Northeast show circuit know Jan because she was seemingly the secretary at every horse show we attended in New York and Connecticut. So Mary Lou was a delightful gal. She was in the secretary's office, handed out numbers on the computer, whatever needed to be done. And that's Mary Lou Burmeister. She will be missed. James LaHood passed away at age 72 in June. James was a USEF steward of the United States Equestrian Federation and a manager of many major horse show events across the country. He was in fact awarded the Horse Show Manager of the Year twice in his lifetime. He was a familiar face at the Saratoga Springs Horse Show when it was under St. Clements. He was a long time participant. Dennis Dammerman. Dennis Dammerman actually was the husband of a gal that I had showed with for many years, about 15 or 20 years ago, Marcia Finn. Dennis had a fascinating career. He loved horses. He has had a beautiful farm on Fitch Road in Saratoga. And Dennis, when he was 38 years old, Jack Welch named him GE's financial officer in 1984, and he was in fact the youngest CFO in the company history. He later became the vice chairman and executive officer of GE and chairman of GE Capital Services. He was a very, very familiar face at the horse show here and also at the races across the street during July and August. Following his retirement, he and his wife, Marcia Finn Dammerman, made their primary homes between Wellington, Florida, and Saratoga. Mr. Dammerman was one of the founding partners of Wellington Equestrian Partners and really developed and revived the Winter Equestrian Festival into what it is today. And Marcia, I remember before she was married to Dennis, used to ride with Betsy Geary right here in Ballston Spa. She had a beautiful gray horse. I can't remember his name, but I sure do remember his face. And she was an active competitor on the local Capital District circuit. She met up with Dennis, they married, and together they enjoyed several very, very happy years with horses, as Marcia being an equestrian in the show ring and also together owning quite a few thoroughbreds. So Dennis Dammerman was a longtime supporter of the St. Clements and Saratoga Springs Horse Show, and we certainly miss his smile under the exhibitor's tent. He was a regular fixture here. And Marie E. Jones, known as Betty. Betty passed away just on March 13th of 2014. She was a devoted parishioner at St. Clements Parish. And even though she worked at the March of Dimes and the Caroline Street PTA, she always made time for the St. Clements Horse Show. She was a very beloved volunteer and is dearly missed, and that is Betty Jones. So in remembrance, Mary Lou Burmeister, James LaHood, Dennis Dammerman, and Betty Jones, we thank you for your time and commitment and participation at the Saratoga Springs Horse Show. You are missed dearly and remembered this day.
Thank you. We're going to take this moment again as we wind down in our second segment today. I'm going to list all of the various functions or groups that do receive funds from the Capital Fund that run the Saratoga Springs Horse Show. Those that benefit from your donations and from the monies here at the Horse Show are Domestic Violence and Rape Crisis Services of Saratoga County, Shelters of Saratoga, Cornell Cooperative Extension, 4-H Youth Development, Backstretch Employee Service Team, Saratoga Springs EOC Soup Kitchen, St. Clements Grade School of Saratoga Springs, Mary's Haven, Franklin Community Center, Gateway House of Peace, Saratoga Center for the Family, St. Clement's Outreach, Jake's Help from Heaven, Rebuilding Together Saratoga, Captain's Youth and Family Services, Unlimited Potential Inc., the Salvation Army of Saratoga Springs, and 18 Saratoga County food pantries all benefit from the efforts of the Capital Fund and the fundraisers being this show and also being the other activities they're involved in here at Saratoga. Now don't forget, your donations are also greatly appreciated and encouraged. And you'll see across your screen, you will see text going across. You can text a secure donation to Saratoga to 50155 and get a secure donation done that way. Or you see a phone number going by. We have telephone operators. You call 518-306-5121. A very secure donation that way. Or we do have, again, inside the kiosk in the exhibitor's tent, which is right here beside us, and you can go in and use the kiosk, or we'll have a 6-year-old show you how to use the kiosk. But you can use the kiosk and make a very secure donation. It's for a great cause. We did talk to the lady from Franklin Community Center, Jamie Williams, who talked about many of the things they're able to do with their support from the Capital Fund.
And Tom Fuston was here earlier. He is the founder of the Capital Fund of Saratoga County, which runs this horse show and is the facilitator for the funds that come in to distributing them back to all of these community nonprofits. To date, $81,000 has been distributed, and the Capital Fund is an all-volunteer organization, so money goes really where it matters. We will be back at 4 o'clock. Thank you for spending this time with us. I'm Susan Kane.
I'm Wayne Williams. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in 2 hours.